Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, and joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell, sitting beside me today. Shell, what's up with the podcast situation?
Well, we're in the process of redoing the podcast room.
Yeah, normally you sit right across from me, so I had something to look at. Now I'm just staring at the camera. It's kind of odd.
I don't like it either.
It's like the old way we used to do the podcast. We were both on the same side of the table back in season 1, 2.
Well, this is only for 1 week. Well, we're going to do some updates, get some new equipment, hopefully improve quality.
Yeah.
So,
Always trying to make it better.
yeah, always trying to make it better.
If I'm not innovating, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, Tyler's here with us. Tyler, you're the one doing all this for us.
This is my fault, so you can blame Tyler this week.
And none of us have done this before, so
But if you're just listening, it doesn't matter.
it don't. It looks good, though. Cameras, I like the new camera. What are these new Canons?
Canon Vixia 70H or something like that.
I can see these in a deer stand, Tyler.
That's kind of like what spawned all this. Is y'all already had one that you take down a deer camp.
Yeah, but it's an old model one.
It's a
like
50.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
newer.
so we were looking up like good podcast cameras, and this one kind of popped up. So I kind of did a little bit of experiment with the other one, and I thought it looked pretty good. So hopefully y'all like it.
So, real quick, before we get started, I wanted to talk about our Feed a Family campaign with the Palmer home.
That's right.
You can get all details at HowToBBQRight /Palmer, PALMER. Go and find out how you can win a patio, an outlaw patio smoker.
But more importantly, how to cook on that outlaw patio smoker.
How to cook pit lesson from
Yeah.
Malcolm and the Curry.
I wonder what we're going to cook. Ribs, pork butt, chicken, combination of all of it?
Does the winner get to choose?
No, we'll have it all ready.
I like that.
And second and third place. Also, we have some prize packs for second and third place. So go to howtobarbqright.com /Palmer, PALMER for more details.
Heck yeah. That's
And that money goes to feed a family at Palmer Home, hopefully for the year.
That's right. I forget how much it takes, but it's a good bit.
20 grand to feed a
20
family.
grand's what it takes for the...
Yeah.
Is that with inflation?
That's what I'm wondering, yeah. It's a family
Maybe
of
more
8.
now.
Yeah.
It's like 28 now.
So we went to Collinsville, Illinois last
We
weekend.
did. That was a fun event. It's always Collinsville's a cool town. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of like mob history there. Like
Yeah.
Capone was up in Chicago, then he had some guys down there in Collinsville that ran stuff because it's so close to St. Louis. But there's all kinds of stories that the folks around town have about the old gangster type stuff. I always thought that's cool. But it has that small town charm, Main Street feel, and that's what this was, Smoking on Main in Collinsville. It's a contest they've been doing. I don't know how many years it's been. Do you? It's
Several.
I mean, we went for the first time. Was it
5-6 years ago?
Yeah, it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
But it was
definitely.
cool. Every time we've been up there, we've had a great time. They treat us real. There's the Code 3 barbecue guys are friends that kind of started it up. They're from Collinsville, so they opened up a store there. It's called Collinsville Barbecue Supply now. But it's Chris and Mike, and I think Chris is pretty much running the show now on the store side.
And Josh is helping it.
Yeah, and he's got Josh there. Shout out happy birthday to Josh. It was his birthday last week.
And he's working on his birthday.
But they got a cool barbecue supply store where they sell all the rubs you can think of, sauces, of course, charcoal grills, just cool stuff. They sell meat there. They ship.
Oh, they sell meat? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they have coolers in the new store where they sell. I'm guessing they're selling competition type stuff. But if you just want to pick up something for the weekend, you probably can too. They're in the process of building like a filming kitchen there. They do classes there.
Yeah,
So
Johnny Joseph and
Marty Bloom were
yeah.
there doing a steak class on Friday night, a SEA ribeye class. They also did a judges SEA training that Friday before the contest. This was a Saturday-Sunday contest. So
on Friday they were running classes.
yeah.
And on Saturday they did 2 SEA cooks, like an A and B and a pork steak
The
contest.
pork steak is what I was interested in. Man, I love pork steak. What do you think? What's your thoughts on pork steak? Are you pro or con?
I've had some really good ones. I've had some delicious ones, and I've had some that I'm like, I I can take it or leave it.
I love pork steak.
What would you classify like a pork steak? Is that like
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's
is
a
a pork steak?
It's a pork butt they slice thick. Well, I mean, I guess you can get it
Yeah,
sliced
I've seen
anyway.
them
Sometimes the
sliced
grocery
in.
stores, like, they used to put it pork steaks. Where I first had them was like my mom buying pork chops. And they'd buy that family pack of pork chops, and there'd be some real pretty center cut ones, but then there'd be some they slipped some pork steaks in, which was off the butt, and it's probably cheaper for them to build that pack and charge you the same price. But we always had them like fried pork chops, same kind of way. Now, it wasn't until I went up to Murfreesboro, Illinois at 17th Street with Mike Mills, they were doing smoked or barbecued pork steaks, and it's kind of a regional thing there to that St. Louis metro kind of area, Southern Illinois, but they season them up like barbecue rub. They slow smoke them. Oftentimes you'll see them wrap them up with the barbecue sauce, butter, and all that stuff, get them super soft and tender. Then they'll take them out of the sauce or the wrap thing, the wrap, and put it back on the smoker and kind of glaze it up like we do ribs or a pork butt. And you've got this fork tender, thick cut piece of pork butt that is just melt in your mouth. Delicious. I love them.
And it's got little charry bits. The best ones have little charry bits on the
outside,
around the edges.
I like to finish them off like char grilled style, where you finish them over coals. And that's what I saw when Mike first did it. They did something that was totally outlaw. He like took the old hickory. He had one of the old hickory rotisseries, the big one, like we have on the trailer. And they took one of the rib racks and lined it with aluminum foil and put charcoal coals in the cooker rack, and then put the other rib rack on top of it and finished those pork steaks over that charcoal coals inside the pit, like in the cooking area. And so that is.
So I have some questions. So it was lit charcoal, obviously. How far above the charcoal were the pork steaks?
It's just a few inches.
Okay. Can you set your space?
I mean, it only holds 3 racks, and so the one rack was the top position, which is
it was the smaller rotisserie.
No, I mean it was a big rotisserie. Yeah, but it's a long, skinny rack.
Yes.
So they spread charcoal all the way to the end, whatever those are, like 48-inch racks, and then put the other racks on top at the top position, which is only about 3 inches, probably 3 or 4 inches, and put the pork steaks up there. So they were char grilling them inside the cooking chamber of the pit.
So were they rotisserizing it?
No, they didn't rotate them. They just had them in one fixed position.
Okay.
And they didn't shut the doors either, because there's no telling how hot it would have got.
Okay.
And it'll definitely probably void any kind of warranty or anything you got on your grill doing that. But I thought it was so cool. I was like, man, I know, the folks at Old Hickory do not want to see somebody doing this to one of their pits. It is not recommended. But Mike was doing it, and it worked. Man, you talk about doing a lot of pork steaks, char grilled style. You had Philip up there running them.
How much foil did it take to?
I mean, it's 48 inches long. It's only 4 foot,
No, I'm talking about thickness, width. Just
no, just one layer probably. I don't know. I guess you just have to let it burn out. I mean, I guess you could probably take the rack off the thing and go dump it, but
yeah, I'd wait till it cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool, and it makes some great char grilled pork steaks. You know who has a good pork steak? Lambert's.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is that like the throwed rolls?
Yeah, home of the throwed rolls up there in Sykeston, Missouri.
I'll have to try that.
You stop in there and get you a pork steak, catch you some rolls, and get you some pass-arounds. You got something. Big giant teas.
They used to have some really good chicken and dumplings. Last time I went there, I was a little disappointed, but
Got a bad batch.
I got a bad batch of chicken and dumplings last time we were there. But on Sunday, they did a St. Louis BBQ Society cook.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that because they have a amateur division and they have a professional division.
Yeah, they kind of have backyard, I guess.
Yeah,
you call
backyard.
It. The backyard was doing ribs and chicken, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all 4 categories for the. It's still KCBS rules, right?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I don't know the details. I know that they cook all 4 meats.
Yeah.
So.
Was the building y'all were in the barbecue supply shop that like people were taking pictures with y'all at?
No, we were at a place called Friday South, which is it's like a pub right there on Main Street.
Okay. So Malcolm went and did a meet and greet with Sweet Baby Ray, Dave Raymond. So, but This is the first time you've ever done a meet and greet in a bar, is it?
I loved it. Yeah, man, because everybody was buying us drinks. It was like, okay, you got 2 more beers at the bar when you're ready for them. Let us know. You got 6 more beers. It got to be so many drinks that there was no way we could drink them all. Because everybody would come in and buy a beer.
We managed.
Or a shot. Or it was a great day. Up until the time the tornado came. I don't know if it was tornado, straight line winds, or what. But it got pretty scary there for a little while. I mean, I don't know how many tents got destroyed. There was like no warning. We were sitting in there talking. All of a sudden, the guys.
And they weren't expecting
it.
No,
they were supposed to be no rain at all. And then they looked up, and one of the people we were sitting around talking to said, "We better get out of here. It's fixing to rain." And I said, "What? It ain't supposed to rain." And we looked, and it was like the radar was red, coming at us. And it was only a few minutes. And so people went to scatter, and then the wind picked up, and, man, it blowed. There was like the side of one of these buildings got blown off into the street, and I don't know how it didn't hit some of the barbecue teams, because I saw a video of it, and it was like
it was right
all
in
around them. It looked like a bomb had went off, and it just had blowed, lumber and shingles and signs and all this stuff right in front of where we were.
Yeah, and it was right in between, like it was a line of trailers and then a gap, I guess.
Because 2 streets kind of converged there,
and then a line of trailers, and it just happened to fall. Right in the middle. Between, yeah.
They got lucky because that could have really hurt someone. Mm-hmm. But nobody, as far as I know, nobody got hurt. There was no injuries. I mean, there's some damage to some tents.
I imagine some pop-ups got destroyed.
Oh, yeah. There was, I don't know how many I saw twisted on the way out. Mm-hmm. And we were going to stay for the awards, but they had to keep bumping it, and it was still raining. So we were like, we probably ought to get to our reservation.
Well, I'd made a reservation. It's supposedly one of the best steakhouses around there. It gets... national recognition.
Was it called Porter's?
Porter's, yeah. And they ended up canceling on us.
Got back, got cleaned up real quick, went over there, and they said, "We tried to call y'all, but we're closed." So we went to Plan B. Good old Colton's. There's a Colton's right next to our hotel. We just parked at the hotel and walked over there. And you know what?
Pretty daggum good.
It was not bad.
There's
something about going into a place, first, it's one of those peanuts on the floor type establishments.
Yeah.
Love. They have a huge bar. We sat at the bar. So you've got cocktails right at your disposal. They'll bring you out. Their rolls and butter are dang good. I mean, they're not Lambert's rolls, but they're good. And then I went with the Old Faithful, the ribeye. What style was it? Del Rio style?
Yes, it was good. It was a seasoned up.
It was like a Southwestern type seasoning on a ribeye, and they topped it with like a Southwestern butter.
And I always order rare at those places. Because if I can order rare there, I usually get it about
medium.
Yeah.
But it was perfect. I mean, they nailed it. So
I got
the thickest or the biggest quality steak. No. I don't mind that sometimes. It's what you expect for like a $24 ribeye dinner.
Yeah.
It's not a $50 ribeye, but all the sides came with it. Came with 2 sides. You weren't a la carte there.
I had a wedge salad that was really good, and she recommended doing ranch dressing and blue cheese crumbles on it, and that I will do that from now on.
Ranch with crumbles?
Ranch with blue cheese crumbles instead of blue cheese and blue cheese crumbles.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. You also tried a Stag beer.
So this old man came in the bar there, and I was sitting there on the end of the bar. Me and Shell were talking, and this older man, you could tell he's like local, probably watering hole, whatever.
Come on out.
He comes stumbling in, and he's talking to the bartender. And I can't understand a word he's saying. For one, he's talking about eating chili 24/7, like all year long too. How does you can get it? But he says he wants a Stag, and so she knew what he's talking about. But she said she had to pour it in a glass for some reason. I don't know why. Well, she got it out, and she poured this beer in a glass and gave it to him. And I was like, "What the heck is this? Stag beer?" I mean, I'd never heard of it. We don't have it in Mississippi that I know of. And she said, "Yeah, it's kind of a rural. The people that live out in the rural areas, like they're close to St. Louis. But anyway, that's what people drink up there, and they call it steak, taters, and gravy." And I was like, "But it's supposed to be low calorie beer." How did you get
that one guy said it was low sugar.
Low sugar beer.
Yeah.
But they call it steak, taters, and gravy, or Stag is the name of it. And if you've heard of Stag, it's not bad.
It's a regional thing, I guess. Yeah. I didn't think it was bad at all.
I could see you thinking it was a little thicker.
Yeah,
it drank thicker. Like a
Budweiser.
Bud Heavy.
Yeah.
That's what it drank like, or a Bush. That's how it drank.
Yeah.
Bush. That's how it drank. It was no Miller Lite now.
So we did go to one restaurant, and they had something called a horseshoe sandwich.
What was that place called? McDeal's?
McDeal's Irish Pub.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard of a horseshoe sandwich. You had.
I think I'd seen it like on Food Network or one of these TV shows or something. It's a regional type sandwich.
Yes. It is.
Set it up for us. What is a horseshoe?
You know, I know. I've already Googled it. A horseshoe is an open-faced sandwich originating around the Springfield, Illinois area.
Okay.
It's basically a thick sliced toasted bread, a hamburger patty, and then you get fries on top of the patty, and then cheese sauce on top of all of it. I'm not really sure where the horseshoe thing came, but hamburger is the most common meat on the horseshoe, but the original meat was ham, which,
Like a big, thick slice of ham?
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But you can sub it out for any meat, any, fries for taters, wild fries, whatever. The one I got was a buffalo chicken shoe. So it was toast, buffaloed fried chicken breast, cover that all with some really good crispy fries, and then cover that all with cheese sauce.
But it wasn't like nacho cheese sauce.
No.
It was like American cheese sauce.
So it says that, cheese sauces can vary, but the one that is used, like the common one used for horseshoes, is the same kind of used for Welsh rarebit.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's just like a basic bechamel with cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a roommate years ago. He was from the UK, and he would always say stuff like, you want to go to get dinner with us or something, Chris? No, I'm going to make some Welsh rarebit. And for the longest time, I thought he was cooking rabbit. I was like, where is this
sound like
Brit
rabbit to
getting
me.
rabbit?
It sound like rarebit. I always thought it was Welsh rabbit. Yeah. But all it is like a piece of bread with some cheese sauce on it. So you're just eating bread and cheese sauce. Where's the rabbit?
Yeah. Because the way he said it, and I'm a redneck, I don't know. I just kept thinking.
I mean, yeah, I was all for eating rabbit. But I never saw his rabbit. It would just be a piece of white toast and then this cheese sauce drizzled over it.
It's pretty good. We tried. Yeah.
It was
pretty
all
good,
right.
yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much substance there. I don't know what the story behind that is. Maybe it's like a Depression era food.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. Like a wartime food.
Yeah, like a slug burger. Doesn't really have slugs on it. But we had a great time in Collinsville. Went to a Cardinals game. They got stomped. That's always fun. Got a stadium dog.
Nachos, stadium dog, nachos, and beer.
Was the food good there? Was it as good as like Atlanta Braves food, or?
They're all the same, kind of.
Yeah.
To some extent.
It's hard to mess up a ballpark hot dog.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a standard there, but
You can get a stale bun every now and then.
yeah, but it was good.
When I went to St. Louis, we went to this place called Antonio's Taverna, I believe it's called. It's in the hills or whatever, like the Italian district. And I saw that they opened up one like in the stadium, like at St. Louis, and they sell like toasted raviolis and stuff. Did y'all see that?
No.
I didn't see that one. Yeah, their toasted raviolis are like awesome. Like if you're in the St. Louis area, you got to try them. They're really, really good.
That's one thing we've never done is go to like the hill area and eat Italian.
I'm like an Italian food junkie, so it was like our first stop when we got there.
We didn't go out in St. Louis this time.
It was too quick. We got there, went to the game, went to bed, woke up the next morning.
Went to Collinsville.
Yeah. I think now would be a good time to talk about talk about mayonnaise.
What kind of mayonnaise?
Specifically Blue Plate.
Blue Plate mayonnaise. Quality since 1927. Real mayonnaise. Still made the same way. Using real egg yolks, right, Tyler?
Real egg yolks.
So if you're going to if you're choosing mayonnaise this weekend, choose Blue Plate. So one thing that kind of I started thinking about, we went to this contest. It was so hot, high humidity, like it was kind of miserable. And then all of a sudden this storm rolls through and it was like instant change in temperature, wouldn't you say?
Oh, man.
It was all of a sudden the wind started, like you would get a little
It dropped
cool
20 degrees.
breeze, yeah.
Instantly. Which felt great after the storm.
So I wanted to ask you questions and get your feedback on cooking in rain and bad weather. And actually, this topic was suggested to me by somebody that came to the meet and greet.
Okay.
Welded Horn on Instagram. So So, okay, can rain change your barbecue cook?
I think the humidity does in a lot of grills. I've noticed it where things seem to take longer to get done. They don't want to, whenever you're trying to render all the fat and the juices out of some meat, get it done. Whenever the humidity changes outside, it does something to it to where it can, I've seen things take a lot longer to get through that stall. I've seen them be done, normally we're thinking something might be done around 205, 210. It might be done at 200 that time because of the different barometric pressure changes. I've seen all kinds of things.
Has it ever affected you personally at a barbecue cook?
More so like life or death situation than affecting the meat.
You're not worried about the meat.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the meat most of the time. Most of the time, it's are you going to get blowed away or is lightning going to get you? That's the biggest thing to me. When I think of cooking in bad weather, I'm thinking of the contests I went through. That's we've had hurricane warnings where we've had to take cover and leave stuff or just hide. We've had severe thunderstorms where we've had to hold down tents in the middle of a massive storm. I mean, there's just been, we've had wind and we've had extreme temperature drops. There's been, we've went through a lot of stuff. I mean, most of the time the rain doesn't I like it when it rains a little bit, not storms, but when it rains a little bit, our meat tends to really lock right in and do what I want to do with it. But it's those drastic changes and stuff that can mess you up. Especially, if you're cooking on stick burners or pits that are real wind dependent or, the conditions, like when we cooked on Old Hickory, it wasn't that much of a difference because it's a really controlled environment. But if you're cooking, depends on what kind of pit you're cooking on, if it's going to, really affect it a lot. Sometimes you might, sometimes, if it storms, it's going to knock some people out because they're just out there in the elements anyway. And I don't mind seeing that sometimes. Level the playing field.
Typically, those people that are out in the elements aren't, they've only cooked a few contests. Yeah.
I shouldn't say I'd like to see that. I know if it's storming out there and I'm in my trailer and somebody's in a tent, I got a little advantage.
Yeah.
Is that bad? I've been out there in the tent. It sucks. Having everything blow away and you're standing out in mud.
Mark swears when it rains, he wins.
Yeah, he likes it when it rains.
Yeah.
Too.
He feels like it's lucky for him.
There's a lot of people that like it when it rains a little bit.
Yeah, you said
a little bit, not a lot of bit.
Yeah. You said holding down tents. It's like there's a storm coming. Let's grab this big metal rod.
You have to sometimes. There was a time where it was me and Justin's wife Nicole. Everybody else, I don't know where y'all were, or you weren't even there that contest. Waylon he runs for his life whenever there's a chance of any kind of tornado or anything. And I don't know what Justin was doing. He must have been with Waylon. We got stuck at the trailer and was trying to hold that thing down
during a storm.
She weighed 98 pounds, and I'm over there just giving it all I got on a ratchet strap to keep it from blowing off. And I was like looking at the car, and you're just soaked. I'm talking about you can't get any wetter if you jumped in a swimming pool. And man, it was miserable. But we survived.
So, do you want me to kind of give you my Shell's Learning Corner?
Yeah, I always like Shell's Learning Corner. That's one of my favorite parts of the day. So,
we feel humidity because the water on your surface of your skin is not able to evaporate, so you feel hotter. And the same thing happens in cookers. So if the humidity levels are high, the moisture can't evaporate off the surface of the meat, so it keeps the surface meat temperature
cooler.
No, it keeps it hotter.
Oh, really?
It keeps the surface meat temperature hotter because it can't evaporate. You feel hotter. The meat feels hotter.
So you don't get that evaporative cooling, what they call it.
Yeah. So you're speeding up your cooking time. If the humidity levels are low, the moisture is able to evaporate and cool the surface of the meat. Cool the surface of the meat,
makes sense,
which gives you an increased cook time.
I can see that.
Also, high humidity helps keep the meat moist and holds the temperature higher. So the low humidity allows the moisture to evaporate and pulls moisture away faster. So when there's too much humidity, the moisture can't evaporate. And that's kind of what you do when you wrap in foil or butcher paper, is recreate a high humidity environment.
Yeah, it does.
And it helps push you through the stall. Your moisture can't evaporate. You're creating a high moisture, high heat environment.
So it speeds it up.
So it's speeding it up. It's pushing it through the
That's
stall.
scientific to me, Shell.
It is.
So there's like pros and cons of each then.
I guess you just don't want too much. You don't want to.
You don't want too much humidity, but Humidity is pretty good for cooking, I guess.
That's why I guess the water cookers. People put water pans or use water cookers too to simulate the high humidity environment inside the cooker.
Yeah. The one thing I read that said if you are at a higher, if you are in a low humidity area, you might need to add water pans to your cookers. I don't know. You've never been a fan of that.
I do. It depends. Like there's times even like these outlaws I've been cooking with that I've started adding a water pan down on the fire end.
Really?
A lot of it's buffer. It's not so much for the humidity in the pit, but it's for buffer, a heat sink to kind of slow that heat that's coming out of the firebox down just a little bit.
So how
does kind of absorb some of it, and it kind of acts as like a brake. If you got your meat right beside that fire pan, it'll roll over the top of it instead of just hammering it as soon as it comes out of the firebox. That's the thinking with it.
Yeah.
But I could see it also adding some humidity to that pit, which would, control that a little bit. But you also when you're spritzing, you're adding a little bit of humidity to the surface of the meat too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're getting that same kind of effect. Altitude's one that really changes it too. Like I've been cooking hogs, up, we were at like 9,500 feet and we just couldn't get them to the finished temp. We just didn't realize that it's not going to ever get there.
And y'all gave yourself plenty of time.
Yeah. We cooked the hog it was almost 30 hours one time trying to get it up to and it was done. It just wouldn't get to the final temp where we were used to getting it down close to sea level where we normally cook them. And we were like, what was wrong? We couldn't figure, we didn't figure it out, but it was the altitude. So altitude, can play a big part in it too. And you're cooking up in the hills or in the mountains or somewhere, you got to think it's different.
Yeah. Air pressure at higher altitudes is lower, and that causes a longer cook.
And there's less oxygen, so.
Yeah. So this means moisture. So when you're cooking, I got a little something on altitudes too.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're well prepared today, Rachelle's Learning Corner.
So when you're at a higher altitude, moisture is going to be evaporating from your meat surface at lower temperatures. So it's constantly cooling off your meat faster. So the lower boiling point that you get from being at a higher altitude means that you will lose moisture from your meat faster. So your meat will, so to keep your meat moist, you need to lower your cooking temperature is what it recommends. Plus, there's less oxygen at higher temps, so keeping the fire going.
So that was the biggest thing with us. It's hard. You had to fight to keep the fire going.
Yeah. And y'all were trying to
we were trying to feed it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You still couldn't get those temps to where you wanted them, but now it makes sense. I see the science behind it. I just know you better give yourself plenty of time and something's going to be done at a less lower temperature than you think it is.
Yeah.
Than you're normally used to.
I'm thinking about this from like a real world standpoint, but like, aren't there a lot of like forest fires and stuff like up in the mountains and stuff like that? So it makes me wonder if it's harder, if there's less oxygen. I wonder how it's drier.
Yeah.
That's in general. Okay.
I don't know.
You got me on that one.
Yeah. But water at sea level boils at 212. 5,000 feet above sea level, it's 203. You go 10,000 feet above sea level, it's 194. So that's a big swing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What elevation were you at when you were cooking that hog?
We were 9,500 feet. So that makes sense that we're used to something being done a little over 200. It's not going to get much more than 194. 195. That would be equivalent to 212 or hotter. That's pretty. That's a big change.
That's a big change. That's 10 degrees. That's a huge swing. Yeah.
Especially in a hog.
Yeah. Didn't you cook two? You cooked one in Montana and one in
Yeah, we cooked the one in Held in Montana and one was in South Dakota in the Black Hills.
Yeah, the South Dakota. Was the one in Montana at a lower elevation?
By the time we got to that one, we knew that, hey, these things cook different at this altitude. So it's, it wasn't that we had to add any time. It was that we knew it was going to be done more around 185, 190. We were used to, 190, 200.
Yeah.
So it was, we just knew.
Y'all were more prepared.
More prepared for it.
Yeah.
You see some of that when you're cooking Galax too. It's like, we're taking brisket up to these Wagyus. You can take them up 210, sometimes 215, but it's hard to get one much higher than 206 up there. And it's perfect. It's still done. It's perfect where you want it. Just don't want to get that hot. So I'm not sure what the altitude is there. I never looked at that, but it's definitely
up there.
It's definitely in the pretty good heels.
I mean, it's a lot cooler there in July than it is here. So, are there any is there any cookers that you have that seem to cook better in rain or bad weather?
The ones that are enclosed more, like my old hickories, the backwoods.
The ones that have the higher insulation.
Drums seem to do fine.
Yeah.
In bad weather, but it's typically your stick furnace, your reverse flows, things like that aren't going to do as well in weather.
Why is that?
I think just because they're really dependent on the air getting into the fire to keep the fire burning right to draw through the pit. And when you're putting that really moist air in there, your fire has to work harder to get it right, or it's cooler and it's got to heat it up more to get the hot air in the pit. And it's just different changes in the air going into the pit.
Well, do you see a difference in cooking in winter, like in the bitter cold, and cooking in summer?
Yeah, you can see a different change in the air through there because it's colder air. Colder air in the winter, makes the pit work a little bit harder. Will it increase your cook time?
Or does it just take it longer to get up
to
temp?
It might burn a little more fuel.
Yeah, okay.
Burning more cold, the coal bed's got to be hotter to keep those temperatures up to fight that cool air coming in the pit.
Yeah, and all the cool air that's hitting it from the outside, affecting it from the outside. Is it easier to cook in the winter? I mean, in the summer versus the winter? As far as pit temp.
I was going to say, I'd rather cook in the winter just because it's cooler outside.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's any easier. I mean, it just seems like in the summertime when it's, you're up in the upper 90s or whatever and it's hot, you don't burn near as much fuel to keep your fire going. That's the biggest thing I've seen. It even does it with pellet grills. Like, you cook something now, you put something low and slow on a pellet grill in this heat we're having here overnight, you're not going to use much pellets at all. Like, I mean, my dad, I talked to him the other day, and they had ran some butts overnight, and he was like, I didn't use a coffee can's worth of pellets in this grill. I can't believe it's so, burning so efficient. I was like, well, you got to think how hot it is outside. That grill's not having to work that hard to maintain those temperatures.
Yeah, when it's already
You're not
100.
opening it and changing it a lot. It's just not using much.
When it's 100 degrees outside, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't work as hard.
Doesn't have to. What grill were they on?
I think they're cooking on a Rectech, I think.
Yeah. So I got some questions from the community.
All right. We got some good ones this week.
I think this one's a really great one. I think this has probably happened to a lot of people. So I pulled these ribs out of the freezer, and the Cryovac seal was bad, and they aren't sealed anymore. They're still frozen right now, but are they bad or are they okay?
You won't know till you thaw them out and smell them. I mean, chances are if you put them in sealed, sometimes when you're putting frozen stuff in the freezer, as it freezes super hard or whatever, it can puncture that seal. And I mean, I don't think they're going to be like spoiled. I think they get a chance they're going to be frostbitten.
Yeah. And frostbitten meat tastes horrible.
And you should know though, when you smell it, you can usually smell it's a little frostbit. You'll know when you taste it. It just has an off flavor. It's not, I don't think it's going to make you sick or anything. It just doesn't taste good.
We cooked some ribs. This has been months ago, but we cooked some ribs.
From Kroger, I bought. I mean, usually I get pretty good meat.
Yeah. I don't remember where that came from. I just remember when they pulled them off the pit. We've been watching you cook these ribs all day. I was excited.
Hungry for
ribs. And then we took a bite. It was
frostbit.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell. When I opened them, I couldn't tell. I mean,
you didn't smell anything?
No, they didn't look off to me. The package wasn't compromised. It was just one of them deals. Something was wrong with them. And it happens, but.
You did a pork belly like that too. We were cooking for some event up here.
That was one I'd had in the freezer a long time, and the package had gotten compromised. I knew that when we opened it. We were like,
just see,
it didn't look right, but let's cook it and see. And then we had to throw it away.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that. I mean, you don't know till it's cooked, and then if it's bad, don't serve it.
Well,
plan B. Always have a plan B.
So this one, they're planning to cook their first whole hog, and they want to know how much fat you can expect to render off a pig. This one's a 50-pound pig, so it's almost a.
Man, I don't know percentage wise. I mean,
what's it?
Hard to know.
Yeah, how do you kind of figure that out?
Yield, so. Say we cook 150 pounders, I usually say they yield about 75 pounds of usable meat when it's cooked.
So you're saying 150 pounders?
So half. So maybe
almost
you
half.
might get 20, 25 pounds. But it changes the smaller you go. It's not the same true ratio. It just it seems to be that's what it is with a big pig. But when you break that down, it's a 50-pound hog is not very big, and you got to think a lot of that's skin and bones, and it's not the fat content. I mean, you are going to lose fat content in it. It's not going to be as much meat as you think. You'd be lucky to get a shoulder's worth,
Yeah.
10, 12
off a
pounds.
50-pound hog. Really? So
I would think.
you would
it'd
be better
that.
off just cooking a shoulder for meat
yeah.
meat yield? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people cook those small ones just to be cooking a pig for presentation.
Yeah. And they do.
And they'll
look
serve
cool.
butts.
Yeah.
No, that's a catering trick there. You take a 50-pound pig and feed 250 people because you got a lot of supplemented meat there.
Yeah. And you have that pig sitting up there looking all shiny and pretty.
Yeah. It's a great centerpiece to look at,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be the,
It's not going to feed
It's
it.
not going to go the furthest.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So they have a reverse flow offset. They're wondering to know what's the best way to deal with the fat dripping down.
I mean, a lot of times you can full the plates. You can put some the shallow aluminum pans under it, something to catch it. Definitely want that grease to get off that plate. But what I found, if you just constantly let it drip on it and drip on it and drip on it, doesn't do nothing, you can get bad flavor because that grease gets hot on that plate. That's why I like to catch it in a little pan or something like that. I've even used sheet pans. Like take a sheet pan and full it. That way you can swap it out easy. If you wanted to, you could put a little, maybe a touch of water in the sheet pan or something just to kind of keep the temp down a little bit. I wouldn't, make it to where it's going to be a mess, but definitely put something in there to collect it or to get it away from your fire source because you don't want to start a grease fire, but you also want to get it off the deflector plate as fast as possible too.
So did you see the Southern Living just released
I saw this.
an article?
Top steakhouse. Was it legendary steakhouses?
Legendary steakhouses in the South.
Yeah.
The South's most legendary steakhouses.
I was surprised. I knew a few of them.
We've eaten at several of them.
I ate at several of them.
A couple of them were regional or local.
So, just number one was Folks Folly in Memphis. Now, you've been to Folks Folly.
Yes.
Do you think it is one of the most number one legendary steakhouse in the South?
It was good. It was really good, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good, but I wouldn't say it's number one.
Yeah. Your favorite didn't make the list.
No, my favorite. What do you think my favorite is?
Como Steakhouse?
Yeah, and it's not famous because it's the best steak you'll ever eat, but it's a legendary place.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's good.
But it's a good steak.
Yeah, it's a good steak. I like Como Steakhouse.
I think you have to go price to steak ratio a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Super
right.
reasonable.
It's right above Colton's level. It's not called, it's not chain, but it's not. I mean, it ain't cheap. Like you can still spend I bet a ribeye steak's probably $40 at Como, maybe.
But you
Maybe
get
not
your steak
40,
and taters with
But you
it.
get your steak, tater, and salad.
Yeah.
At Folks Folly, everything's going to be a la carte.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Fox Folly, Tyler?
I have not.
I'm going to tell you, I like Capitol Grill better than I like
I do
Folks
too.
Folly.
I do too.
And Capitol Grill is a chain, but man, it's a good chain.
Never been there either.
Number 2 is Marshall Steakhouse here in Holly Springs, Mississippi.
I need to go back and give that a try.
Yeah, I agree.
A fair try.
Have you been there?
I did. And the night we went, we did not. It was like we forgot it was Father's Day or something. So it was packed to the brim, But our lobster tail was a little undercooked. And then I remember our steaks were a little overcooked. So it was
Lobster tail, look at you.
Hey, Tyler, what do you do for a living? What's money do you make?
Latte da.
So yeah, it was just for the price you pay for it. I kind of expected it to be perfect. It does have an awesome atmosphere. I will say.
Yeah.
But
don't they have a big bear as soon as you walk in or something?
It has a lodge feel to it. I went there. We went there when they first opened. They haven't been open that long, have they?
Yeah.
I mean,
and there was
not
some
even
kinks.
10 years.
Yeah. Is that the place that ran out of baked potatoes?
Yeah, and tea. I mean, the steak was okay.
Yeah. But
I need to go back and give it a fair shot.
Yeah. Anytime a restaurant first opens, they're going to be a little shaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to give them a little grace with that. But, well, let's go back. Let's try it this weekend. Yeah.
You go back to Marshall's?
I'm down. Number 3 is Cattleman's in Oklahoma. We did go to Cattleman's, but it was in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
That's not a chain, is it?
I don't think so. The only other one, I recognize two more on that list. One was Buckley's. And I don't know why they're partial to Memphis like that, because Memphis isn't really known for its steaks.
Yeah.
But they had Buckley's on there, and Buckley's is like home of the cheap filet, I thought. I mean, for real, that's all they got.
They do a lot of catering in Memphis.
The regular buck and the big buck. It's like a one filet or two fillets. That's what we always got when we went.
Have you ever had a ribeye at Buckley's?
I didn't know they had a ribeye, but it's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah.
There was one in Columbus. That was the other one I recognized.
No.
And that's a famous steakhouse.
So Buckley's has a 20-ounce Wild Wheels ribeye for $67.
Well, no, that's pretty. They done stepped up the prices at Buckley's now.
Oh, you can just get the signature 6-ounce filet for $49, just $49.
That's back when I used to eat there. I didn't have that much money. They weren't that expensive. I was thinking they were like $20.
Yeah, I mean, how long ago has that been?
Yeah, oh, it's been 30 years. What's the one in Columbus called?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
The Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo, Texas.
Now, is that home of the Big Texan?
Yeah.
I know that place.
I've been wanting to go there.
Would you do the challenge?
Yeah.
Like, would you set up on the stage and try to eat the old 76er, whatever it is?
Yeah.
You've got to eat like the potato, the salad, the shrimp cocktail,
And
the roll, and the steak.
No.
And it's a beast of a steak, too.
Would you?
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't eat it.
I like to enjoy myself too much.
I love food challenges, so I feel like I would try it. I don't think
try
I would
it?
win. Yeah. I ate like a 8.5 pound burrito in Flagstaff, Arizona when I was like 14 years old, I think.
Dang.
It was crazy.
Did you get it all down?
I did. And so like one of the things that they do is they buy everybody a shot of tequila at the table when you win. So it's like I didn't even get to enjoy that at 14 years old, but my parents loved it because I think they each had like 3 shots of tequila. But yeah, I probably wouldn't finish that though. That's huge. That's insane.
Did you feel sick afterwards?
Oh yeah, I threw up for sure in the bathroom like 10 minutes later. Like you feel like
See, it ain't worth it, man.
Yeah.
There's no T-shirt or free meal that's worth it if you're just gonna give it right back or to be miserable like that.
Oh, I'm on a wall.
I'm all for gluttony.
I'm on a wall. He's on
I'm
a
on a
wall.
wall. So maybe it was, Tyler. If you made the wall, it's all for the wall.
Yep.
That makes me wonder. So, do you think these like the hot dog guy? What's his name? Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
Do you think he just goes and just gives it all back?
I don't know. I've always wondered that.
Or does he just lay back and digest it? I mean, 'cause this got to be like horrible for you.
I've always wondered that. Where because they train themselves. They
purge?
obviously do.
They train the purge or whatever.
Yeah.
Then that's got to be bad for you because that's like wrecking your esophagus.
Oh yeah. Like you feel the food like right up to the brim. Like that much. That's why and it had been a while since we've done it, but we did the hot dog eating contest and I feel like I didn't do as well in that, but I kind of like trained for this burrito thing a little bit. Like I was eating burritos like every couple days, like trying to get them down. There's like some local Mexican joints I would just, and so like I got this. And when we got up there, I got it all down and it was a smothered burrito too. So I had like queso all over it. And there was like fresh, little
delicious.
Mexican jalapenos on top and stuff. It was
Have
really
you ate a
good.
burrito since, or is that like you're done with burritos now? Like,
It took a while.
done with burritos.
But
Diggy Brennan's in New Orleans got 16.
I've ate there.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
We've eaten there.
Had a better steak at Emerald. I'm hard on these places.
Oh, you got to be. They want to charge, So there's an Old Hickory Steakhouse in Columbus, Mississippi.
That's the one I was talking about.
Okay.
Didn't one of your friends work there in college? Isn't that famous restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well known.
Oh, yeah. We would go there because at night it turned into like a hangout. They'd bring in a live band.
Yeah.
And you could bring your own bottle.
But it was more of a swankier,
Yeah.
maybe not swanky, but swanky for Columbus.
But during the regular dinner hours, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my kind of steakhouses, though.
The
I do like the old feel, they've got some tradition. They've been there a long time. It's not,
Well, Capitol Grill doesn't have that feel. It
They
has
don't.
that
No.
lush pop.
No, but everything's just on point when I go to Capitol Grill. Like, I don't know if I've ever had a bad steak at Capitol Grill.
certain corporations just run like a really tight ship. So I think it just kind of depends,
Well, they have a seafood restaurant too. I can't remember
Eddie V's.
Eddie V's, and it's just
high end.
It's just as good as the Capitol Grill Steakhouse that I've been to. I mean, they are. It's really, really good. There was one in Fort Worth we went to, which I don't know if there's that many Capitol Grills. I mean, there might be.
They're hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever tried Yard House?
No.
Their menu is more of like a seasonal type menu. So they'll have steak on their menu every now and then. It just kind of depends. They'll change from month to month, but their steaks are really good too. And it's not like, I wouldn't say it's super high end. Like you could eat there on a budget, I think, if you wanted to. But their steaks were really good.
Where's that?
It's a chain. So like they're owned by the same people that own Capitol Grill, Darden.
Okay.
I've never been to one
Garden and yep.
Oh, those are some of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a Yard House anywhere close.
Yeah, like the one I went to
us,
in downtown San Diego, I think, or something like that when I was there. But really, really good steak.
So Malcolm, what you got coming up?
We recorded a brisket video at Smokehouse. I had the first guest. Mark came out and cooked with me. We did a brisket.
Do you call Mark a guest?
He's more of a regular. He's more of a regular, yeah. But me and him did kind of a brisket basic video. What we call it? Brisket basics.
Basics to cooking brisket.
Yeah, and it was it's not like a straight up recipe type YouTube video we're going for. We're going for me and him hanging out, cooking a brisket, and talking about
all the elements
of cooking a brisket.
Y'all talked about seasoning and
trimming and sourcing and wine cooks and wrapping it and all that. And it turned out really good. So I'm hoping the video turns out good. And we're probably going to try to get Mark on here when we release that video. We'll get Mark on the podcast and we'll talk. We might try to do a podcast down at the Smokehouse and just see what that feels like.
Yeah. So we're working on getting it set up. So you're also going.
That's coming up. I'm going. Oh, we've got a TikTok live event. You can sign up. I think can you sign up just for a reminder on our TikTok channels? Didn't you do that, Tyler?
Yeah. So if you guys go to our profile on TikTok, you'll see at the very top, it'll say there's a live event scheduled for
it's next Thursday. Yeah. Not this week, but next week.
Yeah.
August the 9th. Is that right?
I think the live is the 10th.
10th?
At 1 p.m. Central. Or no.
Eastern.
Yep.
So 1 p.m. Eastern from Royal Oak headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. I think that's where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be there doing some recipes and hanging out with the ninja. I don't know what Craig's
the ninja.
The barbecue
Say the barbecue ninja for people that don't know.
He's a karate man. We'll be breaking boards, climbing walls and stuff, throwing stars.
It'll be worth your time turning in.
Watching that. Yeah. Yeah, but we're gonna cook up some stuff live on TikTok. I've never done a live TikTok like that, so it should be fun. I think we're gonna be answering some questions some kind of way. If Tyler can feed us the questions while we're doing it.
I want you to do it like Emerald. Do you remember Emerald's old show?
Emerald Live?
Yeah.
I remember Emerald Live. He had a live studio audience though. There were like
you will too.
Yeah, they're not gonna be sitting there at a bar like.
Yeah.
I guess I can interact. Yeah, we can interact and take questions while I'm cooking. I've got a few things. I mean. It's not that long of a thing.
How long?
So it's not like I can cook. I think it's an
hour.
Oh, an hour.
Yeah, so I'm limited everything that I can cook an hour. So I think I'm gonna do some kind of steak tacos and maybe a dip or something or some sliders or something like that or something something that I can grill up or cook off in about an hour or so. But it's gonna be fun.
You will have.
And who knows? It might work out and we start doing some more of our own TikTok live stuff.
Yeah.
Or YouTube Live. You could do either one, really.
We've done some.
Done a little YouTube Live from in here in the podcast studio.
We tried it at Memphis in May. It did not work out.
You got to have a super stable internet connection for all that streaming stuff to work. So.
Yep.
That video did really well, though, so I think a lot of people wanted to see it. So the thought was...
But that's what I got coming up. We're going to go shoot a few videos this week, I think.
Yep. What you cooking this week?
I've been eyeing some of that. I found some slab bacon.
Not just slab bacon.
At Primo, the Primo's, the new little butcher shop here in town, has Newski's slab bacon in the counter. And he just, like, however thick you want it, they'll slice it for you. I'm just going to go get a chunk of it, slice it up myself, and do something with it. And then I don't know what else I want. I got a drink, the old golf course special. Purple drink is Mississippi, but it's also called a transfusion.
I like it.
And
why is it called transfusion?
I guess it'll get you back right.
It gets you
kind
back
of like
right.
here's the hangover, or if you had a bad day on the golf course, it'll make you not feel that as much, but just, get your blood back right.
So what makes Newski's bacon so special? Do you know?
I think it's just like their smoking
end
process. Yeah, they've been smoking bacon the same way in their smokehouses. Isn't it from like Virginia or something like that? Tennessee. Where does it say?
It says,
pull up their website.
Yeah, it says the Applewood smoked bacon has been made by the Newski family since 1933.
See, look at there.
So
I can't remember if it's in Appalachia somewhere.
So when you buy it, it's going to be like unsliced. It's going to be like a slab of bacon, or is it going to be sliced? Or
I'm probably going to buy it as a slab and slice it myself.
Slice it yourself.
Yeah, because I got an idea. I want to do something with some thick bacon. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy. It's
And you got to slice it yourself to get it thick, I guess. Yeah.
It's just hard to find slab bacon like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's not sliced. I found, Wright's had it there for a little while, and I did those bacon burn-ins with it.
Oh, yeah.
And it went crazy, and they quit selling it after that. You can't even find it in stores anymore, but I got it at Sam's.
Yeah.
And and I love Wright's bacon, it would come in a pack, and it would be the full slab of it, and you could do what you want with it. I like that, so I'm going to use some of the Newskis.
Yeah. And it's already cured. It's already everything. It's just
it's
just not sliced.
It's just not. I mean, they slice it for you at Primo's. If you go in there and just tell them you want a pound of bacon, they'll slice it up right there. He's also got pork bellies. I tell you what, he had some Italian sauces that I tried last time. It was delicious.
Oh, I thought you were going to cook that recipe.
I'm going to. I just don't know if I'm going to do it this week.
Okay.
I may do that too, because I had another one I wanted to do with some patty melt, but I don't know.
You got a lot of ideas.
I got a lot of ideas.
Well, Malcolm, that's all I have for you today.
Well, Tyler, do we have anything going on in community or anything right now?
No, but if you guys, we're going to be having a Labor Day giveaway real soon, so make sure you guys join the Let's Get to Cooking community. If you go to facebook.com/groups/H2Q community, you can join an awesome group of like-minded pitmasters and honestly just backyard cooks like to share the recipes, ask questions, etc. If you want to check out all Malcolm's latest recipes, make sure you guys head on over to HowToBBQRight and check them out.
Awesome. Well, hey, it's been fun hanging out today, and we will be back next week to do it all again. Y'all fire them up this weekend. We gone.